Lords and ladies, today is going to be a very, very weird and interesting day today. And you know why you're here. You've seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail. Welcome to Autopsy Simulator. So what's going on, guys? My name is Ben, also known as Bristol, and welcome to Autopsy Simulator. This is a game where we basically dissect bodies, figure out the cause of death, and just look at bodies and stuff. I don't know. So before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to Team 17 for giving me a code to play this game. It's very much appreciated. So can we get a little hashtag thank you Team 17 in the comments? I'd be really sick. But if you don't know what Autopsy Simulator is, let me tell you really quick. Autopsy Simulator is a first-person horror sim hybrid where players take on a role of a practice pathologist and study case files. Created in collaboration with real-world forensic doctors to help guide the dissection of anatomically accurate bodies to determine each subject's cause of death. This looks really cool and very interesting. It's really somewhat up our alley. So if you do enjoy this and you want to see more, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and let's dissect some bodies, shall we? And just so everyone's aware, the nudity sensor is switched on. We're good. We're good to go.
Office of the Medical Examiner, Beatsville. Dr. Jack Hanman is speaking.
Dr.
How can I
Jack
help you?
Hanman.
Good evening, this is Kate Brooks. I'm not sure if you remember me. A few weeks ago, we talked about an article I'm working on. It's about your wife. I dropped by last Friday to speak to you, but you weren't working at the time. I asked the security guard to pass on a note for me. I would like us to discuss the topic of...
I thought I had made it painfully obvious for the last time. No! Please don't call me again and stop inquiring about my wife.
Okay.
Damn journalists. They don't let me work. God damn it.
So what happened to his... I guess we're going to
I'm
find
not
out
in
what
the
happened to
best
his
frame
wife.
of mind to record a lecture for my students now. I'm feeling completely broken. Where did I leave my meds this time?
Self-therapy. Check the bathroom for your pills. But first, what does this say? Hi, this is Kate Brooks, a reporter for the New Orleans Weekly. I couldn't find you at home. I'm starting to suspect you are avoiding me. Mr. Hanman. Anyway, as you know, we would like to write an article commemorating your wife's achievements. We would be delighted to talk to you about it. Along with this note, I'm also leaving my business card. I hope to find you at home or at the office. Okay, so welcome to Autopsy Simulator. This is the prologue that we're going to be playing today. Basically a little insight to what we're doing. But we're going to just have a little look around. I'm guessing there's going to be some stuff in these little drawers as we go along. We've got a little JD whiskey hip flask. This is all paperwork. We don't need the paperwork. Paperwork's boring. So let's go to the bathroom as we're suggested to do. Take some pills. Out of order. Laboratory. Bathroom. Okay. Is anyone here? Nope. Nope. Out of order does not work. Let's close that. Can we close that? No. Okay. Why does that one go in? Let's take our pills.
Time to pull myself together. And get back to work.
Yes, get back to work, boy. Let's get back to work, boy.
I need to set up the camera first.
Okay, take the camera from the storage room. Storage room. Yeah, nice. See how I got
This
this?
place is starting to look like a hoarder's dream, rather than a storage room. I don't see any need to mess with the electrics. They are flaky enough as it is.
Hey, nice. So we've got to get this camera. We're going to set a camera up and...
Now remember, Jack, don't forget to hit the record button this time.
We've done that before, haven't we, dude? We've hit the... We haven't hit the record button before. We've done a whole stream. That's been fun. Or mic's been muted. That's happened a few times. That has happened a few times.
Hopefully the new tripod is going to hold up.
Okay, what's up, dude? But buddy, so your name is and your penis is pixelated, which is good. Nudity sensors are on. Just so YouTube is aware, the nudity sensors are on.
Now, I just have to get everything in frame.
Okay.
This should be fine. November 20th, 1991. Time, 8:43 p.m. Recording for medical students from the University of Missouri. This autopsy is conducted by Jack Hanman. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the autopsy room.
Hello.
Today, you will have the dubious pleasure of following a full autopsy, step by step. For those of you who have already performed your first autopsy, this will refresh your basic knowledge. In turn, for those whose knowledge is only theoretical, I advise not to watch this after a meal.
Yeah, if you're eating this while, if you're watching this while eating, probably highly suggest don't do that. This is going to get a bit weird and funky, and you know what we're going to do. We're going to dissect the body. So, first things first. Who are these people on this wall?
Some of my previous cases, a reminder of more prosperous times.
Good to know. All the bits and bobs. But we need to look at the chalkboard. What's like the chalkboard?
Let's start.
Okay, tell the students what is important about this profession. We just start with number 1.
Always wear an apron, mask, and gloves. Goggles are a must when the job is splashy. And in case of sharp accidents, it's worth having disinfectants at hand. It's true that you won't get ptomaine poisoning straight away, but if your liver or kidney aren't doing well, you may end up with diarrhea.
So, make sure to wear the bits and bobs. Where are your bits and bobs?
The cadaver is placed on its back on the autopsy table. The pathologist stands on the right of the deceased. Make sure that all the necessary tools are always at hand so that you don't have to run around looking for something, like I do all the time.
So, why do you step on the right side? Is there a reason for that? Or is it because... Yeah, but why would you step on the right side? That's weird.
In the process of revealing and securing forensic evidence, it is difficult not to interfere with the original condition of the deceased. Written and photographic documentation plays a vital role throughout the entire examination process.
Okay.
During your research, be patient, inquisitive, but above all, attentive to detail. Many entries are visible at first glance, but sometimes they can be cover for more interesting stories. And lastly, remember that nothing teaches you self-narration like working with the dead. So get used to that fact soon. Everyone will think you're talking to yourself. Now, on to the police folder. That will contain all sorts of pertinent information as to who the deceased might be and what potentially happened to them. So, let's take a closer look, shall we?
Cool. So, just a little recap. Wear all your bits and bobs. For some reason, stand on the right side of the table. I don't know. It's probably someone's going to be spoken about this, but why we have to sleep on this table. But make sure your bits and bobs are nearby, and you don't have to start with like doing a little run around at this to get all your bits. Write everything down. Take photos. Make sure to get all the evidence we can, and then look into why they're dead. Look at his toes. Sheesh! Look, he's got a big ass toe. That's a big toe. But carrying on, let's look at the police folder. So this is the police evidence file of how they find this person, what kind of happened. So we're gonna just have a look at each bit and see what it says. So we've got a food coupon.
The deceased's name is Tobias Chambers, locally known as Old Toby. Homeless and unemployed for at least a couple of years.
Okay. And then...
The deceased was found on the outskirts of a parking lot at a gas station, where he often begged and persistently offered drivers to wash their car windows.
Okay. It's interesting. So Old Toby was unemployed and homeless, and he was found at the edge of the gas station. Was that where he normally stays? Was that where he normally stays?
The body was noticed by a station employee during the morning shift. Initially, he thought that someone had thrown some boots and a coat in a nearby ditch. It took him a moment to recognize the pile of clothes as the body of a man.
Okay, interesting.
He worked most of his life at the local port dealing with unloaded cargo. He was fired for being drunk and starting fights. His son runs a hardware store on his own. His wife left him years ago. They both had no contact with the deceased.
Interesting.
Signs of libation were found around the body. Empty
Libation.
bottles, traces of an inept attempt to start a fire, and a scattered makeshift blanket.
Interesting.
That's it. It's worth remembering the context around the scene of a death. This allows you to better interpret any traces found on the body. I shouldn't start the procedure without gloves.
Yes, we need gloves. Gloves are good. I ain't touching no dead body without my gloves on.
Now it's our turn to take some pictures for our files. If I can just remember where I left the camera. Aha! There you are. I knew it was here somewhere.
A little Polaroid. Lovely.
As I mentioned at the beginning, before we begin the internal examination, we need to document the cadaver and the condition it arrived in. We begin with a full body photo. Try and stick to the top-down rule, but this is not always possible. Let's keep in mind it's all about the legibility, not the perfect frame.
Okay, so looking at his body real quick, we've got some few scratches, few bumps and stuff. So we're going to stop from the top to the bottom. And yeah, so he's got like a little bit of a bruise on his head. Or zoom in. Oh, take a picture. Oh, I get it. I went too far. I've got to take a picture of the body first. So we take a picture of the body. So like that.
Voila. Now we move on to the next step. Looking for traces. Take your time. Look at the corpse from different sides, from different angles, up close, and from a distance. You're looking for anything out of the ordinary.
So this is what we need to do. I went a step too far. I went from taking pictures of little bits to then need to take pictures. So now we're going to take pictures on the head to the tippy toes. But yeah, so this bit here, this little bit here. And then a bit closer. Lovely. Say cheese.
That's something interesting. It will be necessary to check whether this injury was severe enough to cause damage to the brain.
He also had a cut on his stomach. Just here. Yeah. We'll zoom into this little bit. And then Skabushki.
The boiler healed wound. Looks old. I'll take a closer look later.
Okay. He seems to have some sort of on his arm. Oh, a bit too close. No. Cut knees. No. His toes are mangled. Big ass toe.
Hardened hands, worn out by physical work, and frostbite?
Frostbite. He's got frostbite on his toes as well, though. Look at those! Look at those little paddies.
Some wounds in the feet and signs of frostbite. Probably because the subject's shoes were too small.
Oof.
In a moment, we will check which of our initial observations will be worthy of further consideration. But before we get to that, I need to write down some basic data.
Okay. Pin photos on the photo board. Okay, we can do that. On here. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. This is where everything's going to get a bit graphical now. So if you are squeamish, if you don't want to see that sort of thing, I appreciate you. But this is going to get a bit weird and wonderful. So we're going to perform an autopsy. What do we start with?
Scalpel, scissors, syringe, magnifying glass, knife. I guess I forgot to clean the knife. Personal information. The deceased was unclothed.
So Tobias
Date.
Chambers.
Okay.
Old
As you
Toby.
can see, I note
Age
everything
62.
down on previously prepared forms. Every pathologist must keep a detailed record of every step of the autopsy. This not only allows you to track the procedure, but also collates the results together, upon which you may back up your conclusions. So, enough of the boring prep. Let's begin by taking a closer look at the spots I photographed earlier. For this, you're going to need a magnifying glass.
Okay, insert the areas of concern with a magnifying glass. Tools. Magnifier.
Which spot first?
I think we should start off with his head.
I can confirm the presence of ecchymosis on the deceased man's head. The appearance indicates the intravital nature of the wound. Add alcohol, which I can clearly smell, and this was an accident just waiting to happen.
So basically you were saying the guy was very, very drunk, so potentially could have fell over and bumped his head, which was bound to happen because he was an alcoholic by the sounds of it.
It looks like a burn mark, no doubt painful, but it's not pertinent for this case.
Okay, so that's an old wound that we don't have to worry about. He said about his hands having frostbite.
Here we can see frostbite on the fingertips. We can tell by the characteristic skin color.
Okay. And then we said about his tippy toes as well, which was down here.
Definitely a painful mix of frostbite, abrasions, and blisters. Old Toby had been wearing shoes too small for him for a very long time. That's if he wore any at all.
It's bad. It's bad, bad. Okay.
So far, there are a lot of superficial wounds, but only one serious injury to the head. Let's go back to our notes.
Okay, so clipboard, so shift, shift, shift.
First, I mark the location of the injuries and make notes for each one. So...
highlight the previous found wounds on the clipboard and mannequin. So 4 spots. So head.
The head wound. Definitely an important clue. This is something we'll investigate first.
What's that say? Ecchymosis? Intravital nature of wound?
Even though this type of wound didn't
Multiple
contribute to
wound,
the deceased's
burn, or
death,
other
we're still
injury.
required to record it.
We said about his hands
We're not
having
in frost season
frostbite.
yet, but high humidity, wind, and the inability to warm up can also be causes of frostbite. If
said about
Toby's
his
body was
toes.
cold for a prolonged period, the frostbite could have resulted from the body's defense reaction. The safety of the internal organs is more important than fingers, nose, or ears. As you can see, we don't have much to go on. Let's write down what preliminary causes of death we can think of.
So possible death causes. The wound to the head. Anything to do with your head and brain could be an easily possible death cause.
Various types of accidents are a common cause of death among the
poorly
homeless
healed
and the elderly.
could have
Perhaps old
infections.
Toby slipped and accidentally hit his head.
With his injury on his side, that could have been infected or poorly managed, so he could have like a infection in there that could have been something.
This is of no interest to us.
No? Okay, never mind. Advanced frostbite on the fingertips. Yeah, that could be something.
Considering the conditions in which he
Freezing.
slept, his body may have become hypothermic.
And frostbite on his toes.
The nights have been particularly nasty lately. We will check if there are any signs of freezing internally.
Okay.
Since the deceased clearly smelled of alcohol, I'll add alcohol poisoning to our list.
Okay, alcohol poisoning. Put down the clipboard and continue the autopsy.
We still have one thing left from the basics. Rigor mortis.
Perform the rigor mortis examination.
Well, we take our deceased by the hand,
Okay.
gradually re-raise it.
This is so weird. Oh.
Now let it go. As you can see, the hand falls loose. What's the conclusion? Death must have occurred more than 72 hours ago. The police information
Okay.
appears correct.
So if it stayed up, that means it would have been dead for longer than 72 hours. That's interesting. This is interesting as fuck. This is really interesting.
Head trauma seems the most promising, so we'll start there. For
Select the
this,
skull and saw
I
and
need an
open the
oscillating
cranium.
saw.
Oh shit. Oh shit, we're going in. So saw.
The cut is made from ear to ear.
Ooh. We're going in.
After which, we remove the skin and the top of the skull.
Okay, okay. Begin through the brain analysis by examining the organ.
After the basic examination, we can see that the brain's cerebral gyri in both hemispheres are symmetric.
This is
The
super
brain looks
interesting.
good. Let's take a cross section.
So is this what everyone else has and I don't have one? Get it? Because I don't have a brain. This is really cool though. Leave the body.
Some pathologists prefer to examine organs without removing them. However, for me, it's much more convenient to examine them on a board, which we'll do now.
Okay, so leave the body. So he's got no brain. We're gonna go examine the brain over here. Okay.
Holding a long, narrow blade knife in the dominant hand, we slowly cut the cranial nerves on both sides, all the time pulling the brain towards us.
Squelchy, squelchy.
So far, so good. The hematoma seems to have had no effect on the brain.
Okay, so the fall doesn't seem to have any sort of impact.
We can rule the fatal accident out as well.
Okay, exclude fall as potential death.
Brain is in good condition, so we have no choice but to
Hematoma did
proceed
not
to the
affect the
internal
brain
examination
condition.
of the other organs. I grab a scalpel from my kit.
Scalpel.
The incision should be in the shape of a letter Y.
Okay.
We use a deep cut to reach all the way to the ribs and to penetrate the abdominal wall.
Over his belly button.
Alright, now we peel back and separate the skin.
With an empty hand, peel back. So how do I put this back? Oh! I'm opening them up like a Kinder Egg. Gee! That doesn't seem to... Oh, here we go.
Now, we need to remove the ribs. We'll need the loppers for this.
The loppers. These bad boys.
Scalpel, scissors, syringe, magnifying glass, knife.
Loppers. Loppers. These
I guess I
these bad
forgot to
boys.
clean the knife.
So, what? Select the ribs and remove the rib.
Quite a satisfying crunch, for some anyway. After removing the cartilage tissue, we instantly notice two things. Firstly, there is no congestion of the internal organs. This means that although the deceased was hypothermic, it didn't kill him. Secondly, the deceased smoked like a chimney.
Yeah, those
so
are bad lungs.
we should take a closer look at those lungs. We can see widespread black and tarry deposits. Despite the tragic condition of the lungs, they are not the cause of death. Alice smoked
damage to the
too.
lungs.
It didn't kill her, but... what was I talking about? Lungs. Yes. Advanced inflammation.
Oh, here. Lungs with extensive black-grey deposits, visible inflammatory changes, and excessive distension of lung tissue caused by cigarette smoking. Yes. Not related to death of the deceased. Okay.
What now? The syringe. Now's a good time to collect some samples. Specifically 3. From the eye, the heart, and the bladder. I'm interested to see the concentration of alcohol in the body. Vitreous humor analysis is very useful in indicating long-term alcohol abuse.
The heart,
5 milliliters from the left ventricle should do it.
and then from his bladder.
Now from the bladder, we draw about 10 milliliters of fluid. Now we take our samples to the centrifuge. But before I do that, I need to find my notebook. My dyscalculia means that I always double-check the settings. Please excuse me while I run and fetch it.
I've retrieved the notebook from the office with the necessary value to run centrifuge. This is so super interesting. It's like really, I didn't know this much went into like autopsy sort of stuff. But it's kind of like
This old thing is covered in stains.
ugh.
I should check this out under the microscope sometime.
Yeah, it's super weird and really interesting at the same time. Okay, so I need to put, where do I put my notepad to? Use the centrifuge. Centrifuge is this thing over here.
We put all of the samples into the rotor.
Okay. 1, 2, and 3.
Now, we set the appropriate time and speed.
Set the appropriate time and speed in both dials. How do I do that? Is that in my notes? Aha, here we go. Presence of alcohol in the blood. Time 15 minutes, speed 70%. Okay. So what was it? Sorry, what was it? 15 minutes. 15 minutes on 70% speed.
Okay, let's roll.
Nice. Perform the toxicology test, the presence of alcohol.
Oh shit. The fuses again.
Fuse us in the... Oh!
Where were we?
Did you guys see that?
Yes. The blood alcohol concentration.
No, there was someone there. There was someone there. What's all that about? Nah. No. Absolutely not. There was someone here. It was old Toby. Old Toby was here. This working with the dead is gonna make us go weird, I believe. This is gonna be weird. You stay still, Toby. And what I seen you over there peeping through the little door.
Let's see what we've got here.
Okay.
Everything's separated as it should. Our lab is closed until tomorrow after the last incident. However, considering that Toby's favorite eau de parfum appears to be ethanol, I'm guessing the results won't surprise me at all. Let's go further. We will now focus on the cardiovascular system, specifically the heart. We remove the organ and examine it closely. We look for dark hypoxic areas, clots, or other elements that stand out as abnormal. At first glance, the heart looks fine. The pulmonary trunk and aorta seem to be in good condition. There are no pathological changes that would have contributed to Toby's death.
Interesting.
Now let's take a closer look at the stomach.
Stomach is here.
Size is normal, healthy, and as expected, the stomach has no major external damage. We must now cut it open and inspect inside.
Oh, that's gonna get stinky.
We will do it carefully so that its contents do not spill out.
Yeah, that's gonna get stinky.
We open the stomach along the greater curvature, from the heart to the pyloric end. Oh,
slow and
I
steady.
already feel like there's something left inside.
Slow and steady. Slow and steady.
Okay, large amount of gas, small amounts of yellow, grayish food content, resembling some kind of meat.
Food poisoning,
Either
maybe?
our deceased hadn't eaten in days, or the bulk of his stomach had already found a way out.
Oh.
Looks like I'll have to find the missing contents. There are two ways here. One is obvious, and the other is... It couldn't have been suffocation, could it? I'll add this to the list and move on to the deceased's neck. At first glance, the trachea looks normal.
Okay. Is that normal? There's a bit... What's this here? That's part of it, is it?
Same result as with the stomach. The external inspection doesn't tell us anything. This time we'll cut on a tray. While cutting such a small organ as the trachea, we must make a precise incision.
Yes.
To be able to cut with the very tip of the blade, we must hold the scalpel as we would a pen. And after careful examination and deduction, we've got it. A clogged trachea. It's time to summarize the whole thing.
Okay. So it sounds like he's choked to death on some sort of food.
Based on the report and preliminary documentation, it's safe to assume that the deceased passed out after consumption of alcohol and then fell asleep on his back.
Oh.
Then, the gastric contents refluxed and flooded the airways, causing death.
The main cause of death. Alcohol.
That's why we don't forget about the recovery position at dorm parties.
Disease probably fell asleep or fainted after drinking a large amount of alcohol. Its concentration suppressed signals in the brain that control the gas reflex, leading to choking. Decide the appropriate manner of death. I mean, he drank a lot of alcohol and led on his back. So technically, it's not an accident. But it's also not natural. It's not suicide, it's unknown, it's not homicide. So would you say it's accident? Accident.
And now it's all clear.
Oh, it's an
The
accident.
death
Okay.
was suffocation. Now, signature.
Signature.
The mystery is solved. But for us, this is not the end. First, the dead body needs to be cleaned up. For this, we will need to close the body and grab the needle. First, we unroll the skin flaps. And then, we sew the deceased back up.
So we're not putting the...
I'm using the baseball stitch technique. This stitching method is very strong and quick to do.
Okay. Wouldn't we put all the stuff back into him? Like his heart and stuff? Oh, that is super quick. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Lovely. Leave the body.
Now we say goodbye to the deceased and put them safely in the fridge, ready for the next stage of their journey.
Well, there we go. What do you think of that then? Bye, old Toby. Sleep safe, my dude.
God, I'm tired.
God
I'll
bless.
drop these samples
God bless
off
you,
at the
mate.
lab on the way to the bar.
Head to the car in the parking lot. Do we not clean up? Are we not cleaning this up? We just leave it. We just leave it. Okay.
I'll call Stephen. I don't feel like drinking alone today.
What's this? Is this like a dream? Okay. Okay. What's that about? Ooh. What does all this mean? Okay, so there you go, guys. That was the prologue of Autopsy Simulator. A very, very interesting game and very informative about like what goes on behind the scenes of an autopsy, and something's hiding behind this Dr. Hammond guy that we're playing as. He's got some past trauma, and I believe this story is going to unfold it. So we're going to come back to this. So once again, a big thank you to Team 17 for the game code. I'm looking forward to jumping into this, and I hope you guys did enjoy this and you want to see more. So if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Leave a little comment down on what you thought, and if you haven't already, watch a little video. It might be here, it might be here. Well, it's one of the ways, probably this way, maybe this way. Watch a video, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good day, have a good evening, and I will see you all in the next one. Love you, bye.